The Isis Thesis, Chapter 12. The deceased judges the rivals. Was the last judgment just a determination of protein levels? Idea Strand 58. Deceased judges rivals, combatants, contestants. The deceased is he who judges the rivals, removing the humiliation from upon Osiris. In part 1, we reviewed the Egyptian terms for the opening of mouth ritual, which are WPT-R and WN-R, both which translate to opening of mouth. The verb WPI connotes an opening that entails splitting, dividing, or separating, and can indicate the separation of two combatants or determination of truth. So we now can say that the separation of Horus from Seth, that is, the resolution of their argument, results in a determination of truth or judgment, causing the opening of mouth or birth of Horus species of the litic pathway. The deceased sun god gives judgment in the mansion of the six, which easily equates to the six operator sites, OL with 3 and OR with 3 of lambda. He addresses the blind head of the six, saying that it will share proportionately in his exaltation. That is the full litic function of the six operator sites. By building up the injured eye, the deceased sun god opens and restores the blind eye or head of the six, claiming he is Thoth who healed the eye in the house of the double lion, or opened the mysterious eye behind the double lion, or thymine dimer. In other words, the two knots of Elephatine, which are in the mouth of Osiris, which were knotted for Horus on the spine, represent the OL and the OR sequence that are governed by the two lambda promoters. These two promoters are now functional for the litic pathway due to the SOS response activated by DNA damage. The lambda sun god's cell entry, UV irradiation, the cleaving of Lex A protein by Rec A, and the de-repression of the 42 genes of the Lex A regulon. The spine is representative of the backbone of DNA under the influence of crow protein production, which is known as Horus. The deceased restores the eye. Idea strand 59. This deceased king unites two lands and reduces them to order. Idea strand 60. Conclaves of Upper and Lower Egypt bow to king. The deceased purifies himself before the two conclaves. He talks of the new state he has attained in his mansion and that he has come to Osiris, smitten Seth, and has slain his confederacy. The deceased states that the two braided locks and the mansion of the cord belong to him, both references to DNA. As the text advises, he has taken back the half of the eye of Horus and that Seth snatched. He is now unique, for he has joined the two brothers and restored the eye, because the deceased sun god has inactivated the CI gene site and pacified the two warriors. Along with the entering the host cell and activating Rec A cleavage of the Lex A repressor, he has restored the eye by subsequent production of crow protein in the lytic cycle for the Horus species. The arm of the lambda genome, idea strand 72, references to arms, limbs, foreleg, eye related to Horus and Seth. Idea strand 74, left hand of Osiris obeys. King's right hand supports sky and the left hand supports earth. With crow protein production, both arms of the lambda genome function for the lytic lifestyle. Earlier, we established the references to left arm, left hand, and the arm of the destroyer related to Seth, or the left eye of Horus, whereas the right arm and the right hand refer to Horus and the right eye. Both of these arms or eyes together form the whole eye of Horus. Metaphorical references to Seth's foreleg, Horus tore off, power over Seth's limb, and rescuing the eye from Seth indicate the dominance of crow protein production for the Horus lineage. The text exhorts the deceased, stand up for this left eye of the mansion of the mace, so the deceased will not be wiped out or obliterated and will have the full power of Osiris. Because the deceased has reduced the two lands to order, he has aspired to be with Horus when he greets the arm of Osiris. Another reference to the left-handed side of the lambda genome, or the vanquished confederacy of Seth. In the Tibetan recession, the deceased states, "I am one who is hidden from the one whose arms fight." And Osiris raises his right arm when he commissions the Great One, whom he sends into the great tribunal, which is the god's domain. The meta symbol of arms also relates to that of hands. Thus, the left hand of Osiris obeys, and the entourage of Ra is that of both the right and the left hands. Finally, the drawing of the rising king with arms spread horizontally in a common meta symbol in funerary text imagery, signifying the balanced arms of the lambda genome for the Horus lineage. The Egyptian Kai is signified by two upraised arms, which can now be decoded as the two arms of lambda genome working together to allow a human access to the recombinant species. So currently we have decoded Kai equals two arms of lambda genome and cosmic species. Arms of Wayne of words. Thoth was the judge of words and presided over the testing of the soul on the arms of the balance in the hall of Osiris. The intended meaning of the balance may not have been a judging of actions, but a weighing of words. That is, a weighing of DNA, a balancing of two lambda arms, a rightful order decision for crow production, and the Horus lineage. In the Book of the Dead, the heart of Osiris is balanced in one pan of the scales to exactly counterbalance the feather or rightful order or law in the other. It is interesting that the only part of the viscera the Egyptians left in the mummy was the heart, the indispensable center symbolizing eternity. All chemists consider the heart the image of the sun within a human. On the other hand, the feather symbolizes the wind and the creator god Ptah, Hathor, and Osiris. Feather suggests the flight of birds and the element of air. As a hieroglyphic demonstrative sign, the feather is used in the composition of words indicating emptiness, dryness, lightness, height, and flight. The deceased is described as the lotus bird on the limitless plain, a falcon, a heron. So, the symbolism suggests that the deceased's heart or sun within balances equally with the solar wind Horus lineage or rightful order of the lambda right arm. For this to happen, both arms of the lambda genome had to balance or operate fully. This only occurs when the lytic phase begins. The crow controls the rightful order of the operator sequence, not CI protein. Thus, the emphasis on balance and right shows the harmony between the brothers, the two combatants, and the lytic power restored to the right arm or right operator sequence. After the names of the deceased person in funeral papyri, the epithet Makharu, written meaning he whose word is my. In time, the meaning became he whose word is right, once again suggesting the right operators of the lambda genome. When psychological conditions within the cell, physiological conditions within the cell allow crow to accumulate so it can bind to OR1, the lytic lifestyle is assured and Osiris is resurrected. The long version of Coffin Text 335 states, "Save me from the god whose shape is hidden and whose eyebrows are the arm of the balance on the day of reckoning with the robbers." Robbers refer to the stealing of the right operator sequence by the gang of Seth, activating the lambda left arm for CI production and robbing Horus of his birth and development by means of the injury by Seth to the eye of lambda genome. His robbery or death of fire, so to speak, can be considered the theft or capture of energy from the sun and the trapping of that energy in matter, which is better known as photosynthesis. The text then poses the question, who is the god whose eyebrows are the arms of balance? The answer is, he is Horus, who resides over Chem. Otherwise said, he is Thoth. It is he who uses his arms. So the left and right arms of the judgment balance represent the left and right arms of the lambda genome, which functions by converting a protein, the new lineage of Horus, through transcription. As scholar Edmund Meltzler explains, Seth complements Horus because the pair represents a bipolar balance, embodiment of kingship. Seth and Horus together complete the full function of lambda lifestyles, which are lysogeny and lysis. We could say that humans have the potential for full function or two different lifestyles. Human existence is lysogenic lifestyle, and the transfiguration to a longer living species is the subsequent possibility. If the deceased is the protein-enriched polar site for afterlife chemical transduction and gene manipulation via the lytic pathway. Thus, we have the idea of two seeds, the Enneads of 9 and the twins' birth, which are found in the activity lambda genome. Decoded now, we have two arms of judgment balance equal two arms of lambda functioning for the lytic lifestyle. Seth as a hedgehog. An additional insight into the judgment scene is found in the Book of Gates from the tomb of Ramesses VI. The fourth dimension is followed by the gate of the fifth division, and the space between the gateway and the door forms the Hall of Osiris. In this judgment scene, the mummified Osiris, wearing the double crown, sits enthroned at the top of 9 steps, and before him a mummified figure shouldering an equalized balance, with the right balance showing an enclosed content of space greater than the left balance. In other words, the arms of lambda genome are balanced with both arms operative, but crow production on the right exceeds CI production on the left scale. Although crow production, which had been repressed by the LEX-A repressive protein, which is apophis, is greater, the genome is still balanced because the full genetic potential of the lambda genome is realized by the joint activity of both arms for lysis. Of special interest in this scene, just beyond the steps in the boats, is a boat sailing away from Osiris with a dog-headed monkey holding a stick over a pig. Penikoff notes that the inscriptions in the tomb of Ramesses VI have not been deciphered and the text corrupt. Yet, Coffin Text 157 states that Seth transformed himself into a black pig and wounded the eye. Although the scene from the sarcophagus of Seti I is similar, the text is intact according to Budge. The sixth division of the Duai in the Book of Gates shows Osiris wearing the double crown of North and South, seated in the chair of state. On the 9th step before Osiris is a balance of judgment. Behind the balance, sailing away in a boat, is a dog-headed ape with a stick over a pig called Am'ah, that is, eater of the arm. The text